This week, we're going to take a look inside Umbrella Academy, show you some brand new Funko Pop exclusives, and crack open this month's Previews catalog. Let's get started. It's Previews World Weekly right now. It's 4 p.m. on the East Coast, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we are here every week to remind you guys to stop at a local comic shop and get involved in the world of comics.
It's also almost time for Halloween and Halloween Comicfest, and we're going to talk a lot more about that later. And we got plenty of theme-appropriate prizes.
Absolutely.
But I was very curious because you are a cosplayer.
Yes.
Right? What does a cosplayer do for Halloween? I feel like, is it one of those things where you guys kind of think it's amateur hour?
I'm sure that's a thing for sure. I mean, honestly, I don't do very many Halloween-specific party stuff. This year, I'm actually going to be going to a children's hospital.
Okay.
So I volunteer in Batgirl as a character to go in and hang out with the sick kids and help them have a good Halloween.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, that's actually pretty cool. That's probably a lot better than anything I'm going to do for Halloween. So my hat's off to you, Batgirl. Yeah. Actually, honestly, it's probably better than my plans. I'm probably going to do a Guardians of the Galaxy cosplay. I got talked into it, which is the second time I've been talked into doing a group thing for Halloween. Last time was a Catholic schoolgirl. Oh. So on that note, we're going to kick it over to Anna Mia, and she's going to show us what's at comic shops this week.
Hey Previews World! Every week we give you the rundown of some of the books hitting the shelves for the first time. Here's what's at comic shops this week. And we're just getting started. The world of comics has even more to offer. So stop at a shop already, and you might just find your new favorite thing. See ya!
So yeah, a lot of cool titles out, as there are every week. Anything that you are really looking forward to?
My big one this week is actually a Previews exclusive. It's the Ghost in the Shell Global Neural Network, which is a mouthful to say. It's actually really cool because it's coming from Kodansha, who's also responsible for Attack on Titan and all this other stuff. But the cool thing here is it's a bunch of American creators who are kind of putting their own, giving their voice to the Ghost in the Shell universe. And if you're skeptical about that because of the Scarlett Johansson movie, I think you'll be okay here. Just a little bit. The artwork, the cover looks great. The cover is actually, I had to look this up, it's from a guy named Learns, who I hope I'm saying that correctly, but it's a great cover. It's got Becky Cloonan, it's got Koi Pham, Brendan Fletcher, who did Motor Crush. Cool. I'm very curious about this. I think it's a nice, cool hardcover book, and it's available this week.
Absolutely.
So. What about you?
So I'm looking forward to this continuation of the Sandman universe that we've got going. I love Neil Gaiman. So this is the Books of Magic series.
Right,
Yeah, so it follows this kid, Timothy Hunter, and it turns out that he's slated to become the most powerful magician in the universe. And he's got a whole bunch of stuff to deal with in life because he's just a teenager living in London. And so it just looks like, you got magic, you got some intrigue and a little bit of young adult stuff going on.
Right,
Solid.
It's a good mix.
Yeah,
that whole Sandman universe thing is kind of interesting because they're really committing to this idea that all these things have been connected all this time. So yeah, really cool. I'm also looking forward to Lodger from the Laphams. A lot of people might be familiar with the Laphams from Stray Bullets. But my first Lapham book was Silverfish, sorry. And the cool thing about it is they're just really adept at telling crime stories. And this particular one, if you're a fan of a series like Mindhunter, this might be something perfectly geared towards you because the idea here is that it's about this girl who falls in love with the wrong guy. And it turns out that the wrong guy is really wrong because he's a serial killer.
Yay!
And what she's basically dealing with is the aftermath of her basically going for revenge. after he killed her family.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's a really juicy concept. It's coming from the Black Crown label from IDW, and I just love David Lapham. I love all his stuff, and if you haven't read Silverfish, check it out. So.
Yeah.
Was there anything else on your list?
Yeah, the other title I'm really looking at right now is Cold Spots. So this is the 3rd issue of a 5-part miniseries. And it's got the great Halloween theme going on for us right now. It's a little bit of a psychological horror kind of thing. They've got the undead, supernatural, you know. And the main character, Dan Kerr, has to face a whole bunch of cosmic terrors to find his wife and unborn daughter that he left 10 years ago. And this stuff sort of pops up. Turns out that ghosts stir when his daughter is around, and some weird stuff's going down. So it just seems like my kind of genre, right?
Right. Your thing is supernatural. I like that. Right. That's good. Actually, and also it's perfect for this time of year. The only other thing I want to give a shout out to is Silencer, which I've been reading since issue 1. Cool. It's a great, it's a cool book. It's like John Wick in a lot of ways, but it has a female lead and like a classic like assassin hitman story. She's trying to get out, but they pull her back in, which I know I'm mixing quotes and metaphors here right now. Yeah, that's a really cool book, and I love it. It springboards off of an old Grant Morrison concept of, you know, Talia al Ghul, Batman's honey from back in the days. She had her League of Assassins. Well, what exactly does that mean?
Nice.
You know, and who are those people? Well, this is one of those people, and she's part of this assassins group called the Leviathan, who was one of Talia's crew. And she's trying to get out, and they're trying to pull her back in. Like, she has all these special powers that she does and all this other stuff. It's actually really cool. Also, Black Panther vs. Deadpool is out this week. Kind of a weird mashup. I'm very curious about that one.
Yeah, what a combo.
Yeah, you know, like, because you have like the stoic Black Panther, and you have like the very talkative Deadpool, and I mean, it's a recipe for like, you know, a lot of fun. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's from Marvel right now. Also this week, the new catalog drops.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the news.
As usual, this week we've got a load of new announcements that are really cool. First up, we've got Uncanny X-Men. So a new era has begun for the Children of the Atom, and Marvel.com has exclusively revealed 4 preview interior pages of the Uncanny X-Men #1 from the inaugural issue. So this has line art by Mahmoud Asrar and colors by Rochelle Rosenberg. And it's a 10-part epic weekly story, and it starts with a mysterious and tragic disappearance. The X-Men are drawn into what might be their final adventure. This is going to be starting November 14th, so keep an eye out for that. Next up, crime comic masters Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips return to their beloved iconic Criminal series. Criminal #1 will debut as a double-sized issue featuring the return of Teague Lawless, whose teenage son is causing him trouble that he may not be able to fight his way out of for the first time in his violence-fueled life. So this is a perfect introduction for readers to the dark and exciting world of Criminal, and this new series will also include back-page articles and illustrations to bring readers more fully into the noir experience. This will be available Wednesday, January 9th of next year. Next up, we have a free Comic Book Day exclusive for previews. So this is a John Constantine pop figure, and we know that Free Comic Book Day is a ways off, and we know it's something you guys look forward to every year, so we want to let you know what you're going to be able to look forward to when that comes out. And Free Comic Book Day is, of course, on May 4th, 2019, so keep an eye out for probably more cool stuff we're going to be having for that. Next up, Dark Horse Comics and Ubisoft are pleased to reveal more information from their upcoming comic series for Tom Clancy's The Division: Extremis Malice. So this is a total must-have for fans of intrigue and tales of survival. This 3-issue comic series is the perfect introduction to the post-pandemic world of The Division 2, the sequel to the record-breaking video game The Division. While the game won't be out until March 15th, you can get your kicks by checking out this comic, which is going to be on sale January 9th and is available for pre-order at your local comic shop. We also have the new Previews catalog, so you guys need to know about this. If you want to know anything in this world, this is where you need to go. The November edition of Diamond Comic Distributors' monthly Previews catalog is here, and it features all the goods scheduled to go on sale beginning in January. You can get a look at the catalog now on the PREVIEWSworld website by checking out the site sections that spotlight the gems of the month, as well as the full catalog sections for comics, graphic novels, books, magazines, trading cards, apparel, games, statues and models, collectibles, and toys. That is out today, guys, so go check it out. And last but not least, we have a Previews exclusive Batman pop. So this is the Batman Who Laughs. We have one in studio right now with us here.
Yeah. And
it's a really cool figure. If you're a pop collector, here you go.
Yeah, no, this is cool because this is the breakout character from the Dark Knight Metal series. And if you are trying to expand your DC Heroes pop collection, this is everything. This is not available in the catalog right now, but you can pre-order at your local comic shop, and I believe it's dropping January 16th. But the catalog, like you said, is in stores right now. You can see the 2 covers, Fight Club 3, which is the 3rd Fight Club, and the other history of the DC Universe. And yeah, just tons of cool stuff in the catalog every single month, such as Philip K. Dick, a comics biography. Look at that. You want to learn about the guy who made Blade Runner? There you go.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Or I guess I should say, do you dream of electric sheep? Someone's going to take away my nerd cred for that one.
Got him.
But yeah, the Batman Who Laughs is available to pre-order now.
So we've talked comics, we've talked news, now let's talk some toys. Let's take a look at what you can get in your local comic shops this week.
And we told you that this was the Halloween episode, but maybe it's the Christmas episode. You get to decide. We have the Halloween Town box set and the Halloween Town Mini-Mates from Diamond Select Toys, and we're going to give these away.
Absolutely. As usual, giveaways.
Yeah.
So one of you guys can win this whole set of really great Halloween Town stuff. So we want you to tell us if you think that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie. You can't say both, one or the other. Leave us a comment. We'll take entries until Friday at noon, and then you can win all these puppies.
Cool. And while you're deciding that, go ahead and take a look at Batman the White Knight from DC Comics. This is a trailer, and it drops right now.
The Joker becomes a hero. Will that make the Dark Knight a villain? Batman White Knight. DC's iconic characters. All-star writers and artists. Intense, provocative, daring. Batman White Knight.
And that was Batman White Knight from DC Comics, available in comic shops now, or you can pick it up at Halloween Comic Fest this weekend. Speaking of Halloween Comic Fest, we're hanging out with Ashton Greenwood, the Publicities and Promotions Associate Specialist?
Yes,
okay,
associate.
There you go. And Ashton, you handle events like Free Comic Book Day, but we're going to talk a little bit about Halloween Comic Fest.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about Halloween Comic Fest?
I can tell you tons. I'm very excited for this event. It's this Saturday at your local comic shop. If you don't happen to know where your local comic shop is, you can go to HalloweenComicFest.com, click on Find a Shop, pop in your zip code, and it'll pull up all the shops near you that are participating. They'll have 34 free comics available for you to get. They come in 2 different sizes, the traditional full-size comic book and also these little mini ash can sizes.
We got a few right here, right?
Yeah.
There's also going to be a fantastic costume contest, aptly named the greatest Halloween costume contest ever. And so you upload a picture of yourself in a costume, and that's pretty much it. You go to HalloweenComicFest.com, you upload your picture, and you'll be entered to win up to $500 to your local comic shop.
So that's it? Like you just take a picture in the costume? There's no additional thing that you have to do for it, or?
So if you upload a picture and you're just in like a regular Halloween costume, you'll be entered to win up to $100. However, if you have one of these Halloween Comic Fest books with the Halloween Comic Fest logo on it, you'll be entered to win that fantastic $500 grand prize.
Dang.
Nice. Right, yeah. It's dang worthy.
That's a lot of stuff.
It is. So, all right, we talked a little bit about this before, but like, there's a lot of books coming out. You said 32?
34.
34. Okay.
Yes.
That's impressive, actually. And you have like the smaller books, but you also have the full-size comics. Which ones are you looking forward to? You personally?
So for the full-size comics, I'm definitely looking forward to Jughead the Hunger. I love it. I love Jughead. I love all things Archie. Don't shame me. Everyone loves Jughead. Let's get that out of the way, right?
There's nothing wrong with Archie.
Do you?
So Jughead the Hunger is part of the Archie horror line, like Veronica and Afterlife with Archie. And so it focuses on Jughead as a werewolf and kind of him coping with that and his inability to handle his werewolf tendencies. So as the comic book starts, he's got a laundry list of people he's already named. Some characters you might recognize. Yeah, it's ooh.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay.
And Betty Cooper happens to be a werewolf hunter, so it should be an interesting dynamic between them.
Yeah.
Right.
Fun.
There's actually, I think there's a book coming out where Betty's actually going to be, it's like Betty versus Jughead, and then Veronica is like factors into it too, which is also kind of cool. They're doing cool stuff with the horror stuff. So.
I like it.
The Blossom 666.
Yeah,
I'm very
right.
excited for that.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming out from them. What else are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Goosebumps, right? Because, like, did you ever read Goosebumps when you were little?
Classic.
Right. So Goosebumps is great because it hits a lot of that nostalgia. It also hits a lot of those, like, classic horror tropes, black cats, coffins, abandoned areas, abandoned amusement park. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's always a no-go.
Ill-advised.
So they go in search of a book called Do Not Go Into the Basement
Okay.
at a bookstore called Cursed Edition, so that sets up where that's headed.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Probably don't go in there at all.
Right,
then.
exactly.
I can already see there's the Hellblazer book here, which I actually think is pretty cool. It's a reprinting of the Neil Gaiman, Dave McKean original book.
Looks super cool.
Yeah, which is nice. So I guess one thing we should reiterate here, or just say in general, is that not all of these books are kid appropriate.
Yes.
Right.
Like some of these have like age ratings on them that people should pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. So they range from mature to teen and all ages. And one thing that's really important to know if you're taking kids with you is all of the mini comics are all ages titles.
Okay.
So perfect for your little ones. And the other thing that's really cool about the mini comics is they come in packs of 25. Thea has some to show us.
I got Ninja Turtles.
Who doesn't love the Ninja Turtles?
There you go.
And they're perfect to give out, in lieu of or in addition to candy to your trick-or-treaters.
Right,
And they're $5 for a pack of 25, so you can load up on them at your local comic shop.
Nice.
And a nice collection of publishers too. Like, I mean, you see a little bit of IDW, you see stuff from Dynamite, and even Scholastics in this on here.
Absolutely.
It's cool that we have Superior Spider-Man. So one more time, just so people know, where can they find a participating shop?
Absolutely. So you go to HalloweenComicFest.com/store locator, pop in your zip code, and it'll bring up a list of all the participating shops near you.
All right, cool. And that's this weekend, so be sure to check it out. You want to hang out with us for Social Swamp?
Yeah, I'll stay.
Got some opinions to say some things?
Always.
The great thing about Ashton, is she's my cubicle neighbor, so
yes.
we're always commenting about Twitter back and forth, like slinging opinions. So Thea, let's do the Social Swamp thing.
So last week we asked you guys how you guys got into comics, and we've got Ashton here. So how did you get into comics?
Yeah. Okay. So when The Walking Dead premiered on AMC, and it's got the little thing at the bottom that's like based on the graphic novel, my brother was like, "Oh, like let me check this out," because he really likes zombies, and so he started reading the digital comics of it. And that kind of got me into it, and then, well, okay,
Dang.
chill.
Sorry.
Story's not over yet.
Right for her, man.
I'm waiting for the happy ending, sorry.
Right, okay, so you gotta go somewhere to get more comics. So I went to a local comic shop and found all the Archie comics.
Right.
And I also found the Star Wars comics, which was everything, because I was already a huge Star Wars nerd. And I was like, you mean there's more in canon material? I'm set.
Right.
My first comic that I actually bought from local comic shop was Darth Vader #1.
Beautiful.
Okay, there you go.
Well done.
All right,
I
the
like it. I like
most recent Marvel one. Is that what you're
Yes.
talking about? Okay, cool. In canon, we'll say, maybe. Maybe
whatever.
possibly.
I mean, it's Marvel-owned, Disney-ish.
Right, yeah.
In
Speaking
the
of
wheelhouse.
which, that's a good segue. Did you just give us a segue, Ashton?
You're welcome.
Oh, man. But yeah, a bunch of people responded to this question, and we've got a couple responses here. Antonio de Jesus Gautier used to look at the Sunday comics page from the newspaper, but his first comic was X-Men #1.
Okay.
And Quentin McGlory, X-Men Unlimited, a lot of X-Men. There was a guy at school who collected, and I asked him about it, and the rest was history. We've got The Real T. Davis, seeing the covers on the spinner rack at 7-Eleven when I was a kid back in the late 70s.
Ooh.
And good old Comic Brains started with Spawn from a huge Costco playset, which is kind of an interesting one in my opinion.
I'm curious. Was that like a toy playset? Is that what he's talking about?
I couldn't tell you.
Because I know they used to sell them like in like these massive packs at Costco back in the day.
Stuff, yeah, for sure. But it's, you know, it's been cool to see what people's responses are to like how they got into comics, because everybody's got a little something different for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the next piece of news is that Luke Cage has been canceled.
Yikes.
Yep. There are a lot of opinions about that. The Real M. Perkins says that he's betting that they're going to come back as Power Man and Iron Fist series.
Which would be great.
Ooh. Which would be great.
But not going to happen.
Okay, wait your turn.
And then Ed Montiel says, we'll just have to wait for their reboot series on the Disney streaming service.
Possible.
Hot take.
A little more likely, right?
Yeah, a little bit more likely.
And yeah, we've got the good graphic of
Right.
the two of them, and
Right.
they gone.
Yeah. I wish I made that, but I did not. That was
Right.
actually brilliant. I stole that on Instagram. I apologize to whoever I stole that from.
Photo creds.
Yeah, where's the photo cred here, Troy?
There was no photo cred on it, so I was just like, mine.
Mine now.
Well, oops.
For our purposes.
But anyway, the real deal is apparently that Netflix has announced that they have some creative differences.
Yeah, right.
That sounds fake to me.
Fake news.
Well, you know, it's interesting because, well, first of all, like, you were watching Luke Cage, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know if
absolutely.
you were watching
I
Luke
was
Cage.
not.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
Well,
uninformed.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, the series finale of season 2 was like, it was a legit cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it kind of sucks that they're pulling it right now, and I don't know. Yeah, I find it interesting that it's a platform like Netflix citing creative differences, because like it's one of those things where normally it's the writers or the producers and directors who are just like,
Somebody
creative
on the
differences, we
crew
couldn't get
there
this.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
And I think that's actually a testament to how much creative influence Netflix has on these shows.
It's very interesting.
You know, like I think about how, like, I remember for like a year I was getting Lost in Space, the movie from the '90s, in my feed, like as a suggestion.
Yep.
And it's interesting because then the Lost in Space TV show came up, and it's like Netflix has this Venn diagram that they kind of like already work together. And it's like, you liked House of Cards and you liked that woman in Star Trek, and she's in House of Cards and Star Trek. So, and you watched Lost in Space, so we'll put her, you know, let's put all those things together, you know? So I just think it's more interesting than anything like just telling how that algorithm works, citing creative differences.
Very interesting.
I don't know, was there anything else about Cage or anything else, or?
I mean, I'm sad to see it go.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Where it pops up, right?
I mean, Heroes for Hire would be nice.
It would.
We'll see. But speaking of Netflix, we got a little piece here for you. It's called Get Graphic, and we're going to be focusing on Umbrella Academy, which is actually getting adapted from Dark Horse Comics into a Netflix show. So check this out. Learn all about that series, which is a great series, actually. In 2006, Gerard Way, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, had released The Black Parade, an album that would surpass the success of the band's previous efforts and would, ultimately, go triple platinum. It's around this same time that Way would write Umbrella Academy, reconnecting the singer with the world of visual storytelling, something he'd left behind to start My Chemical Romance years prior. At this point, you've likely heard about Umbrella Academy because Netflix has announced a TV show adaptation starring Ellen Page. But why wait until the Netflix debut to really discover what Umbrella Academy is all about? So, let's explore the imaginative world of Gabriel Ba and Gerard Way in today's Get Graphic. While it's unfair to give Umbrella Academy an elevator pitch, I'll start off by describing it as simply Tim Burton meets Fantastic Four meets the revisionist history of Watchmen. Now, why the Fantastic Four? Because at its core, Umbrella Academy is about a dysfunctional family that also happens to be a super team. And like the Fantastic Four, this family of metahumans got their powers through cosmic rays. More specifically, a cosmic wrestling match. You've heard of a punch heard around the world. Well, this was the elbow drop felt across the universe, sending shockwaves across space, resulting in 43, we'll say, virgin births on Earth. Not all of them survived these flash pregnancies, but the ones that did displayed superhuman abilities. Enter Reginald Hargreaves, Earth's most brilliant mind and now surrogate father to the 7 babies that survived. Hargreaves is also an alien disguised as a human, but we won't get into that here. As sort of the Professor X of this random group of children, Hargreaves takes it upon himself to help them control their equally random powers. Hence, the Umbrella Academy. Horror, Kraken, Space Boy, the Rumor, the Seance, and most dangerous of all, the White Violin. Everything I've just told you is simply backstory for what comes after. Hargreaves is murdered years later, after his Umbrella Academy has gone their separate ways. This forces his children to come back together and solve who killed him. While that mystery is being solved, we simultaneously find out about how much the world has changed the moment those 43 infants hit the scene. See, Umbrella Academy doesn't take place in the present, but in the past. And like Watchmen, the true hook of the series is traveling through this revisionist history of America, all while understanding why these 7 superheroes hate each other. Want to know who really killed JFK? Or the real reason the Eiffel Tower went rogue and tried to kill a bunch of people? Find out inside the pages of Umbrella Academy, Apocalypse Suite, and Umbrella Academy, Dallas. And be sure to pick up Hotel Oblivion #1, which rounds off an Umbrella Academy trilogy, in comic shops now. This series is highly imaginative and darkly comic, the type of adventure where the ideas are more integral to the plot than simple story mechanics. Gerard Way, and I mean this as a compliment, is the closest you'll get to Grant Morrison without actually reading Grant Morrison. The music of My Chemical Romance was often described as dark and theatrical, and you really sense that within the pages of Gabriel Bond Gerard Way's Umbrella Academy from Dark Horse Comics. And on that note, class dismissed. And that was Get Graphic featuring Umbrella Academy. You can check out more Get Graphics on the YouTube channel. We talk about Ghost Money and X-Men Grand Design, among other things. But now we got one last giveaway, and it's Halloween Comic Fest related.
Yes, it is. So we have this really awesome Junji Ito Frankenstein. This is a graphic novel retelling of the classic Mary Shelley. You can get the first chapter for free at Halloween Comic Fest.
Yes, you can.
Right? As
Absolutely.
a little one-off guy there. And right now we're going to be giving away the rest of it. So give us a comment which Halloween Comic Fest title you are most excited for. And we'll take entries until noon on Friday, and we'll pick one of you guys to win this sucker. Cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah. All right, awesome. And if you are looking for the full list of free Comic Book Day titles, head over to HalloweenComicFest.com. And I guess, is there anything else people should know, like, before they head over to their comic shop this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I want to jump back to the costume contest really quick. You can enter right now. The contest is already open, so if you have a picture ready, maybe you went to a Halloween party or whatever over last weekend, you can upload that bad boy to HalloweenComicFest.com, and voting is open until November 8th to pick your favorite costumes.
Cool. And is there a hashtag that everybody should be using for this one?
Yes, please. If you are going to tweet on the day of the event or upload pictures or comic calls, use hashtag HCF18 so that we can find all your stuff.
All right, cool. Very nice. That's it for us this week. This has been Previews World Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen. Thank you very much, Ashton, for coming out here.
Of course. I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the Spinner Rack.